I cut off my toxic family after they tried to steal my inheritance. Now they want to reconnect. Should I forgive them? Hey Reddit. I 32F grew up in a small town, surrounded by a family that always seemed more interested in their own interests than mine. My father, Tom 62M, was often absent, caught up in his business. My mother, on a 60F, had a habit of prioritizing appearances over genuine relationships. My brother, Stephen 28, was the golden child, the one who could do no wrong in my parents' eyes. I was the black sheep, always trying to carve out my path while being stifled by their expectations. Fast forward to a few months ago, my grandmother passed away. She was the only one in my family who understood me and offered genuine support. As a result, she left me a substantial inheritance that I had always hoped would be my ticket to freedom from my family's toxicity. This was supposed to be my chance to start anew, perhaps travel, invest in my dreams, or simply secure a future away from the constant toxicity of my family. But as soon as the news of my inheritance broke, everything changed. I could see the excitement in my family's eyes, but it wasn't for me. They were already devising a plan to get their hands on my money. Tom and Anna approached me almost immediately, suggesting that I use the inheritance to support the family business. They wanted me to invest in their failing ventures, claiming it was a family obligation. The manipulation was blatant, and I felt my gut twisting as I realized that they didn't care about my plans or my future. All they saw was a way to get more money. I turned to Stephen for support, hoping he might understand my feelings, but instead, he sided with our parents, saying I should help the family because that's what good daughters do. I felt utterly betrayed. My own brother, the one person I thought I could count on, was throwing me under the bus to protect the family's interests. After weeks of feeling suffocated and pressured, I made the decision to cut ties with my family. It was the hardest thing I've ever had to do, but I realized that I couldn't keep sacrificing my happiness for people who only cared about what I could provide for them. I changed my phone number, moved to a new apartment, and began to rebuild my life from scratch. I even hired a financial advisor to help me manage my inheritance. Wisely, for a while, life felt lighter. I was able to focus on myself, pursuing interests that had been neglected for years. I started taking painting classes, something my family always dismissed as a waste of time. I even traveled to Europe for a month, which was an incredible experience that helped me discover more about myself. However, just as I was beginning to feel settled in my new life, I received a message from Anna. It was a simple "We miss you. Can we talk?" At first, I didn't respond. I thought it was just another attempt to worm their way back into my life to get to my money, but then I received another message, this time from Stephen, saying he was worried about me and that he missed having me in his life. He went on to say that they had realized how toxic their behavior was and wanted to make amends. Now, I'm stuck in a dilemma. On one hand, I've built a new life, free from the weight of my family's expectations and manipulations. On the other hand, part of me feels guilty. After all, they are my family. They've been in my life for 32 years. Do I owe them a chance to explain themselves? Can people really change, or is this just a ploy to regain control over me? As I write this, I'm thinking about all the moments that have led me to this point. Anna always made me feel inadequate, often comparing me to Stephen and his achievements. Tom was emotionally unavailable, providing financial support but never emotional warmth. They treated me like an afterthought, a tool to be used when it suited them. How can I be sure that their change of heart is genuine? They've hurt me in ways that still linger, even after cutting them off. I've talked to a few close friends about the situation, and their advice varies. Some say that family is important and I should consider forgiving them. Others believe that once trust is broken, it's nearly impossible to rebuild. I'm torn between wanting to maintain my independence and fearing that I'll always carry the weight of this decision. Part of me wants to respond to Anna and Stephen. Maybe a conversation could provide clarity, even if I don't fully trust them yet. But I also wonder if engaging with them again would be a mistake. I've worked so hard to build a life where I don't feel like I'm constantly under their thumb. The fear of falling back into old patterns is ever present. If I were to reconnect, what would that look like? Would I have to listen to their apologies and just accept them as if nothing had happened? Or would I be able to express the hurt they caused me and set clear boundaries? I don't want to be the person who just forgives and forgets. I want to ensure that my voice is heard this time. There's also the question of my future. If I allow them back into my life, how will that affect my plans? Will they expect me to share my inheritance with them or impose their needs upon me again? The thought of going through another cycle of manipulation is daunting. I've finally found some peace, and I don't want to risk losing it. As I ponder this situation, I realize that I have come a long way in understanding what a healthy family dynamic should look like. I've surrounded myself with friends who genuinely care about me and support my aspirations without strings attached. I know what it feels like to be valued for who I am, not just what I can provide. Now, I turn to you, Reddit. What should I do? Should I give my family a chance to explain themselves, or is it better to leave the past behind and continue my journey without them? Can I forgive and still maintain my boundaries? Any advice, experiences, or thoughts would be greatly appreciated. Thank you for listening to my story.